Okay, welcome back. So, I said in this video that I'd try and talk about something that I agree with Tate on, but it turns out I don't agree with him on that much. So, we're gonna look at something I somewhat agree with him on, and we'll take a look. Still like the guy, to an extent. He's pretty fucking funny. I just don't agree with him on much of anything besides kind of this one thing, right? So, I'll put up the clip of him talking about this, and we'll fucking dissect it, we'll go into it.
I believe each and every one of you is exactly where you deserve to be in life, or where you belong, or, let me change the wording, where you want to be. So if you're not a millionaire and you're not happy with your life, guess what? You are where you deserve to be. And the reason I'm going to say that is as follows. This all, I had a bad luck this, or I tried this, or I can't pull off that, blah, 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 blah. It's impossible to exist somewhere where you're not comfortable. If I were to say, lay on these red hot stones, and you tried to do it, you'd get up and move because it hurts, it's not comfortable. You have to get out of that position. Yet, if you look at your lives, your life is in a shit position, but you don't move. You don't do anything about it. So if it was really, truly uncomfortable to you, like those red hot stones were, you'd change something. But the fact you refuse to change something shows that you're pretty comfortable where you are. Now, of course, you can talk a good talk. All you motherfuckers will sit there and go, oh, but no, my life's not in order. I want to be rich and I want to be in shape and I want and I'm gonna. And then you don't do anything. Even if you're not happy, even if you're uncomfortable, you're not uncomfortable enough.
See, and now I might get a lot of shit for agreeing with this, but it's entirely true to an extent. Now, he goes into the idea, well, if you're not a millionaire, it's just because you don't want it bad enough, and I think in a lot of people's cases that might be true, but I also think in a lot of people's cases they're not really in the position where they can do anything to, not be broke. Like, for example, I like money. Let's say I want more money. Okay, so I can sit in my room and I can say, I want more money, I can't get any money. One thing I could do, if I really wanted it bad enough, is I could go out, use some money I already have to fucking buy some shit, go out on the street, go up to people in person and fucking pitch what I'm selling to them and fucking get money that way. It'd be very awkward, it'd be very anxiety filled, it'd be very out of my comfort zone, but if I really wanted it bad enough, then I could go and do that. Now, I'm not saying every single person has the time and resources to do things like this, but there's a lot of people who say things like, oh, I want more money, I wish I could do this, that, and this, but they don't utilize it, they don't do what they need to do that, they just want it, but they never go for it, or they make some half-ass attempt at going for it, and then they stop and they give up. Like, if you had to accomplish what you want in an imminent life or death situation, you'd fucking accomplish that shit, because your life's dependent on it. So you've got it in you to do this shit, you just don't fucking do it. And then people make fucking excuses about shit. Oh, I can't go and I can't talk to that girl that I really want because I got anxiety. I have anxiety, and no, I'm not just saying that, I even had it diagnosed. But you're not gonna get anywhere fucking giving into it and using it as an excuse. It's an explanation as to why you're feeling that way, but you can't say, oh, I can't do it because I have anxiety. You say, oh, I'm gonna struggle to do this because I have anxiety, but you're still gonna fucking do it because you gotta do what you gotta do if you want it bad enough. Same with depression, like, oh, I really wish I could do this, but I'm just too depressed to do it. It's like, no, the fact you're using it as an excuse is making you more depressed and making you unable to do it, or at least perceive that you're unable to do it. Yes, right, depression is very real, it's a very real thing, and it's a struggle, and I empathize, it's gonna make things really difficult. But you can still do it, and you're using it as an excuse. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to be easy, but you can do it. If someone fucking came and held a gun to your head right now and said, get the fuck out of bed, or I'm going to kill you and your family, and yeah, you can make the suicide jokes, I wish they'd kill me and I don't like my family, it's like, alright, jokes aside, it's like if someone came up to you with a gun, get the fuck out of bed, I'm killing you, you're going to get the fuck out of bed, right? So you can get the fuck out of bed in the morning if you have depression, because you could do it in a life or death situation. You just need to harness the motivation that comes from a gun being put to your fucking head. As again, I've struggled with depression too, I get it's difficult, but you can fucking do it. Using it as an excuse never helped anyone. It's not an excuse, it's an explanation as to why it's difficult, not an excuse as to why it's apparently impossible. Same thing goes for executive dysfunction. If someone came and put a fucking gun to your head, say get the fuck out of bed, clean your room, or I'm gonna kill you, you're gonna fucking do it, because it's a life or death situation. Now, you can't sit there and say, yeah, but it's not realistic to act as though, yeah, I'm not saying you have to act as if everything's a life or death situation. The point is that you have it in you to do this shit. So you can do shit if you want it bad enough the majority of the fucking time, which is why I agree with him a lot on this point. And the reason I'm so angry sounding when I talk about this is because I know there's going to be people that try and defend it and try and defend using it as an excuse or all that shit, right? I'm not saying not to be empathetic towards yourself. I'm not saying not to be empathetic towards people with anxiety, depression, executive dysfunction, or anything like that. What I am saying is that it's not a fucking excuse. And when I say that, people get annoyed at me and they say, oh, well, you don't know. It's like, I do know what it's like. I've experienced them all. Now, I get there's other reasons, right? But the main point I'm going to make here is that if you're physically capable of performing the actions, then you do have the ability to do what you need to do what you want to do. If you're physically able to do what you need to do, you can do it. Do you have legs? Do you have arms? Do you have a torso? Alright, fucking push your legs out of the bed, push your torso up with your arms, now you're sat up, right? Now use your legs to fucking stand up, there, you're out of bed. If you can move your legs, arms and torso, there you go. If you can do that, then that means you can walk to the fucking shower and turn a knob and get in the fucking shower, dry yourself off, and then that means you can do whatever else you fucking need to do if you can do all that, most likely. Like, if you're physically capable, you can fucking do it. And as again, it may not be easy, but the harsh truth is that everything you're not doing because you just think you can do, you're just not doing it. Step out of your own way. Anyway, I'm not trying to make a fucking motivational video here, so let's go into the place where I kind of disagree with him on, which is the whole millionaire thing, because some people, like, the system is designed to trap people at the bottom. I'm not going to go into it in this video, but they're not exactly helping people to get to the top, and they're not exactly making it easy for people to stay where they are. To use the hot coal analogy, let's say you laid on the hot coals and then someone fucking put a box over you so you were stuck on the hot coals, then you're fucked. You will burn alive on those hot coals, and that's what they're doing to the poor people. They want you rich enough to pay taxes, but poor enough to not have any power. And this sounds like some conspiracy theory shit, but keep in mind, the global economy has depended on slavery for God knows how fucking long, and since the liberation of black slaves a few centuries ago, or was it decades? I don't know. I don't know black history. Oh, what are you gonna do about that? Point is, it was built on slavery, and now there's not as many slaves, besides in China. Oh, but they get paid 2 pence an hour. It's like, what? But yeah, there's not really any slaves anymore in the West, even though we do still utilize slave labor from foreign countries. Since there's not as many slaves, I know, what a shame. That was a joke. They needed to substitute that in somewhere, because the entire economy was built off slavery. We're kind of still readjusting to that, because now everyone has to be paid fairly. But let's be honest, is it fair? Are the wages fair? The people having them don't seem to think so, and I would trust their view over the people not getting those wages, considering they're the ones that have to live off them. Now, I do have to disclaim, surprisingly, I'm not an economist, so I actually do not have the answer on how to fix the global economic crisis. Sorry, Jaden Smith. Point is, the system is definitely meant to keep people at the bottom, because we need people at the bottom. It's how the system was built, and if that foundation gets broken, we're kind of fucked. So, they need people at the bottom, so they're keeping people at the bottom, which makes it pretty hard to get to the top, because these people are laying on hot coals, and a bunch of fat sumo wrestlers are sat on a sheet of metal that is laying over them, and they do not have the strength to push those, let's say, 3, 4, 5 sumo wrestlers off them, unless they get lucky and get a power up. I don't know where this analogy is going. Point is, they're kind of trapped on those hot coals. And Andrew Tate knows this. People with money have power, which he has stated as the reason he wanted money, because without money he didn't have power, and the people who did have money would have power over him. So he's well aware of the power imbalance between the rich and the poor, because that's why he wanted to be rich. So he knows about it, and he came from a poor household, so I'm not saying he didn't try, I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to be where he is. What I am saying is that in part, it is a bit of luck when it comes to getting rich. It is also skill, but it also involves a lot of luck, just like everything in life. And if you try hard enough and long enough, the likelihood is you probably will be somewhere about where you want to be in life. But also, if you try too many times and you don't have the right mentor or motivation or awareness, which you'd have had less time to build because you were busy trying to fucking survive, then let me show you a clip.
Training fleas requires a glass jar with a lid. The fleas are placed inside the jar and the lid is then sealed. They are left undisturbed for 3 days. Then, when the jar is opened, the fleas will not jump out. In fact, the fleas will never jump higher than the level set by the lid. Their behaviour is now set for the rest of their lives. And when these fleas reproduce, their offspring will automatically follow their example.